Hey, what's that movie where everyone thinks Kevin Spacey assaulted someone?
His life?
The biopic?
Yes.
Or are you talking about The Life of David Gale?
Yeah, The Life of David Gale. Haven't seen that in forever.
Your whole crew, then pounding the nails. Got some movie buff juice. It came out in 97, didn't get any better. Well, let's check anyways. I haven't seen that in forever.
Welcome into episode 9 of Haven't Seen That in Forever.
Yep.
Not 10.
No.
We definitely are not at 10.
Numbers are sequential.
They are. And I usually know how to count. I have 10 fingers. I should be able to do that much easier than I did.
We're going to get in trouble on episode 11 then.
Ooh. Yeah, when I run out of fingers, hopefully it's one of your movies because I'll be real confused. Today we are going to be talking about 2003's The Life of David Gale.
A light, fluffy flick.
It's such a feel-good movie.
Popcorn.
Just a breezy watch.
I'm going to give a disclaimer. We're going to be talking about some pretty heavy topics in this movie. Sexual assault is going to come up. The death penalty is going to come up.
Kevin Spacey is going to come up.
Kevin Spacey is in almost every scene. So if that's triggering for you, we understand.
Any movie that is polycharred in the actual movie itself, the discussion is going to be a little bit too.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive right into the relevant question. And this week's question is going to be a little bit heavier than some of the other ones.
I do like marshmallows. Thank you for asking.
Peeps, or you like Peeps?
I like regular marshmallows.
Regular marshmallows. Yeah.
Do either of you actually like Peeps?
No one does.
They're just a waste, like a buy just to like do it.
Well, it's just like buying circus peanuts. It's the same thing.
No,
it's for decoration.
Don't you even.
I haven't had them in a while, but I loved circus peanuts.
That's a different podcast. That's
Peeps aren't terrible.
Regrettable decisions of your youth.
I'll eat them if they're there, but I won't go out of my way to get a peep.
That was not the question, but I'm happy to know where you stand on marshmallows. Are you a death penalty supporter?
Oh, you're looking right at me for this.
Well, I'm starting with you.
All right. I don't hate the idea of the death penalty. I just don't like the way it's executed.
Very on the nose. I like that.
Executed.
I'm going to execute my answer by saying no. I am personally not a proponent or fan of the death penalty. I do think that our prison system is built on punishment as opposed to rehabilitation. So I don't find it terribly surprising that a lot of our like prison industrial for-profit complex leans that way. But no, I personally strongly more so believe in rehabilitation.
And I'm going to split the difference because I don't have a strong opinion on the death penalty. And it's probably one of the only issues in our society right now that I don't really have a strong opinion on. I understand it in some circumstances. I also don't understand it in some circumstances. If you forced me to say one way or the other, I don't think I could. I'm kind of right down the middle.
There are some people who just need to go.
I don't. That's kind of what I'm talking about when you see a circumstance with a person like that, and you're like, I get it. Go ahead.
I heard that someone was going to make Salt 2, and I changed my stance. I immediately was like, you know what? Actually, it's more complex than I thought.
Let's go ahead and get this guy out of here now. Okay, so was this your first viewing of The Life of David Gale?
It was.
First time hearing of it. First long time not hearing of it. First time not seeing it.
I'm surprised
I'd never first time caller.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I'd never heard of it given the cast.
Same.
Yeah.
And the time it came out, which was, all these people are kind of at their peak.
We're starting to find that a lot in some of the movies that we're doing. Is I don't know how some of us or all of us missed some of these movies.
Yeah.
This is not the first time I have seen The Life of David Gale. I actually think I saw it on a date when I was in high school.
Oh my
What?
God.
I can tell you this with 100% certainty.
You were making out during Schindler's List?
I can tell you this with absolute certainty. I know the first time I saw this movie, I had no idea what it was about.
Oh,
So
Ben.
I think I went on a date to see it, and I definitely regretted that.
Look, the title does convey that maybe it's like a biopic kind of pick.
You're like, oh,
and then
Forrest
you realize
Gump was a banger.
and then you realize, no, it's a play on words.
Well, what's the one with Ben Stiller, like The Secret Life of Mitt?
Walter Mitty.
Oh, I was going to say Mitt Romney.
No, Walter. It's based off a short story, but that's like a series of short stories that he envisions in his head of like grandeur. That movie is pretty good, but that short story rocks.
Never seen it, never read it.
Oh, definitely read it.
So yeah, I've seen this a handful of times. I own this on regular DVD, not even Blu-ray. That's how long I've
you watch it when you need to pick me up.
Well, it's a very happy movie. Like we said, it's a real light movie. Nothing heavy in it at all. Let's dive right into it because I feel like we're gonna have so many deep and long discussions about this movie that I don't know that we should delay that anymore. So like I said, this movie came out in 2003 and it stars Kevin Spacey as the title character, David Gale. We also have Kate Winslet as a investigative reporter named Bitsy Bloom. Which, the name Bitsy just...
It took me a good long while to figure out what the hell they were talking about with her name.
It sounds like a 70s porn star name.
Bitsy.
Introducing Bitsy. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Bitsy Bloom.
Could be a
Like
stripper.
dancer, yeah.
Then we've got the ever incredible Laura Linney, one of my favorite actresses of all time,
Unbelievable.
as Constance Haraway.
There's some names for the ladies.
I know.
And then it's David Gale for the guy.
And then Gabriel Mann as Zach.
Yeah.
Who is
David and Zach. And then we have Bitsy.
Bitsy and Constance. And those are really the main four characters in this movie. There's a couple bit players that play a big role that we'll talk about. But this came out on February 21st, 2003. And the premise of the movie is a death row inmate who is David Gale and former professor and anti-death penalty activist agrees to give his final interview to Bitsy Bloom, the journalist that we just mentioned, just days before his own execution. This is the first time he's agreed to an interview, and he will only do it with Bitsy. And Zach, her assistant researcher,
Intern, I think.
is not allowed to be present for these interviews, and she's not allowed to record them.
Yeah.
She can only write stuff down.
Yep. What an experience for him as an intern. Can you
Only-
imagine? This is his first gig as an intern?
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow.
Only the film crew of the movie was allowed to film
That's the only, exactly.
the interview
And they
and
were
broadcast it theatrically
And they were on
worldwide.
both sides of the glass too.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Dangerous.
They had two cameras. So this is a really complex story.
Yeah.
It unfolds. It involves activism, a revelation that challenges morality, of the morality of capital punishment, and forces the audience, us in this scenario, to question whether justice has truly been served. So we start essentially at the end of David Gale's life. That's where the movie begins.
Yeah.
And Bitsy Bloom, like we said, is a reporter who is tasked with completing this interview. And they have 3 days. Yes.
Yeah, he gets
so, yeah.
3 2-hour sessions
correct.
leading up to his execution.
Yeah.
They, Bitsy and Zach, travel together to death row to do this interview
In Texas.
in Texas. Yep.
Oh, no, it's shot in Huntsville, Texas, right?
Oh, yeah, I believe
Is that
so.
where it's located too?
I think so.
They literally called the execution capital of the country. Did y'all know that?
I did not.
They've had that. That's where the most people have been executed in real life. It's like 600 or so people since like the 80s.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Since the 80s.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's
Sorry, a little factoid
that's
there.
depressing.
But it just adds like a layer, and like you shot it there in real life too. Oh, okay. So that was probably pretty powerful.
It's got to be pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So Bitsy begins her first interview with David Gale, and essentially what we as the audience, at least my viewing of it, is the expectation is that we're going to see Bitsy kind of take on the role of freeing this
Exonerated.
wrongly convicted individual.
And she thinks he is guilty.
And she says that
flat
from
out
the
says
very
it.
beginning. She
Yeah.
says, I am not here to do that. I'm not your mouthpiece for your exoneration, anything like that. I'm here just because you asked for me and I'm going to do my job.
He's gone through all the trials. He's done all the everything, and he is guilty and
she's
set to be executed.
He's got a
Purely
date, so-
professional, zero personal input or
She almost
impetus.
seems annoyed that she has to do it.
yeah.
Like she's excited when she gets the assignment, but then when she gets there, she has that air of like, just start talking I can get out of here.
He is
Can
a
I-
bit arrogant.
Can I say something about that first part where she gets the assignment?
Yes.
Is one of the, and maybe it's because this was a serious movie I was seated for, wasn't expecting it, but one of the funniest lines I've ever heard in my life.
Is it the woman that's on the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's on the phone arguing with somebody, and she just goes out of nowhere like, I don't make the rules. I'm a fat black woman.
Oh my God.
And I don't know if I wasn't expecting that.
Well, there's not a lot of humor in this movie.
Or
so.
it maybe it just is the funniest line, but I had to pause the movie. So I was like, and it's at the beginning of
It's
the
at the
movie.
very
So you're like,
beginning.
what kind of movie am I in for? Are there going to be zingers throughout this thing?
I got to give the movie a little bit of credit. You really don't get a sense for what this is going to be about, even as it begins.
No. Yeah.
And so essentially, David Gale tells Bitsy, I'm going to tell you my story from the beginning. I'm going to go back to the very beginning and we're going to talk through it and you're going to be able to tell my story.
Yep.
So they begin when David Gale is a professor at
University of Austin?
Texas,
Yeah.
University of Texas at
Austin, I think.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
in Austin, Texas. And he's a philosophy professor. And he's married. He has a child, got a pretty normal American life. What we see pretty quickly is that he has a student in his class who is,
Berlin, another
yes,
uniquely
interesting name
named
for a
woman in this movie.
And she is not doing well in his class. I think she's failing or she needs extra credit or something like that. And she essentially tells him, I'll do anything to pass this class.
It's a weird tone from the get-go.
It's a weird tone.
Even just the lecture itself, when he's like, so what do you want out of life? Like an MTV movie award? And they're like, ha, 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 ha. And all the class thinks it's hilarious. And he's like, or a hunk who will slip on the wet spot. And they're like, ha, 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 ha. And she's like, I'll take 2. And he's like, Kimberly will take 2. It's a weird tone already. And then they're like, oh, by the way, there's a student who's into him and is propositioning him right away.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, another like record scratch.
Yeah.
To his credit, he says no to her.
Well, I like how he
does
says
it in a creepy way.
Yeah, he does kind of like
He
lean into it a
leans
little
into
bit.
her and he says, I want you to
Study.
into her ear. And it's so bizarre. But given what we find out happens later, I guess this is just par for the course on his behavior.
She also said sorry for arriving late, but she got there like 90 seconds before the bell.
Before it ended, yeah.
Like I'm assuming
Why
it's
go
like a
in?
50-minute or like an hour-long lecture.
Why go in?
You're not going to show up at 49.
Because she needed to proposition him.
Well, show up after everyone's left then.
Well, she waited till everybody left.
Yeah, that's true.
She was proper with the proposition. Didn't do it in front of everybody. Kept it on the DL.
Well, and then we meet.
How do you proposition people?
I don't
Just in a bullhorn in a crowded mall?
take your headphones off. I'll do it right now. So then we're introduced to Constance. Constance is clearly David Gale's best friend. It seems like only friend.
Yep.
Who runs Death Watch, which is
Anti-capital
it's
punishment. group.
anti-death penalty activism group.
Played by the absolutely stupendous Laura Linney.
She's amazing in everything she does. For those of you that don't know the name, but you've seen her in things, she's in Ozark. She's amazing in Ozark as well.
Truman Show.
Yep. I haven't seen Truman Show in forever.
Hey.
I don't want to see
Might
it
be
again.
making
Oh,
an
I
appearance.
don't like that movie.
Well, I hope I get that
Oh,
year.
no, we definitely got to do it now. I want to hear why
Who
you
are you
hate Truman
talking
Show.
to? Who the hell are you talking to?
Got to hear why you hate Truman Show. We'll talk about that
Yeah,
someday.
I'll talk about it one day. So we're introduced to Constance. We're introduced to Death Watch and their activism together. But the next really big life-altering piece of the story is when Kevin Spacey decides, for whatever reason, he's going to a party with students.
I did not understand.
You guys both went to college? Did you ever party with your professors?
No.
Now, I went to it was a bar that like had live music, and like if a student was performing there or like a local musician was performing there, you'd see professors there. And I get that.
This was like a house party, though.
Yes.
This was a house party.
And they're like mingling, and no one batted an eye.
Well, and there's multiple professors there. It's not just him.
Yeah.
So it seems to be on this fictional rendition of University of Texas, pretty common. So what we find out while David Gale is at this party, he's getting a drink, he's talking to one of his colleagues, and he finds out from this colleague that Berlin has been expelled.
Yeah.
And I don't really remember the reason.
I don't even know if they
I
said
don't
it.
even know if they said it.
I don't know if it's important.
Yeah.
It isn't really, but as they're talking about Berlin, the student who propositioned David Gale, she shows up in between them, and she's like, "Oh, you talking about me?" And he's like, "Yeah, we were actually."
Is this before they're like monologues out by the pool, or is this after?
This is
that?
before.
Okay.
Because the next scene, like
Yeah.
you're bringing up, is them sitting out by the pool. The whole party is there, and they're like egging on the professors, give a weird philosophy speech.
Like
or a
toast?
poem.
Yeah.
Yeah, toast. And it becomes like a poem about swinging dicks.
Have y'all seen Cocktail, 1982, Tom Cruise, Brian Brown?
Not in a long time.
It
No.
was very reminiscent of a famous scene from Cocktail where he's like, I am the last barman poet. And he's standing on the bar and everyone's cheering him on. And it makes no sense as a viewer. You're like, why is everyone into this? I'd be like, shut up. Can we just party? I don't need to hear you try to wax poetic. And I felt like Spacey was doing that. He's like, I am the last philosophy professor poet.
And then
I wax the ethics of the death penalty cocktail.
and then he says a poem about a big old swinging wiener. It's a strange poem. Cut to trigger warning for this next part. Cut to Kevin Spacey's in the bathroom at this party, and Berlin follows him into the bathroom, locks the door, and Kevin Spacey and Berlin end up having sex in the bathroom. It is.
I was picking up on kind of her plan as it was going. She's like, tear my underwear and grab
scratch
this
him.
and
She
scratch
does.
that.
She asks
and,
for him to hit her and scratch her and tear her clothes.
and I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
It's a long scene, too.
it is, and
It goes on for a long time.
It's an uncomfortable scene. I don't need to see Kevin Spacey's butt ever again.
No.
Cut from there, we go to the next day, and David Gale is with Constance. He's clearly hungover, clearly struggling with what he did the night before. He tells Constance that he slept with Berlin without really saying anything other than her name.
Yeah.
And then we find out that Berlin has made an accusation of sexual assault against David Gale for this encounter. He is questioned. He's ultimately not charged, but he does lose his job. And we're starting
That is art reflecting life.
Yes. And
Wow.
watching it now with what we know about Kevin Spacey, it is very
Oh, yeah.
ironic is probably the right word, but so he loses his job. His wife leaves him and he dives head first into a bottle.
Yeah.
He is just an alcoholic and a half. And his life is falling apart. He's trying to get other jobs. He actually is meeting with another university. And they say, like, your qualifications are great.
Yeah.
We love what you write. We love what you have to say and the way you teach. But I can't hire a rapist.
Yeah, it'd be suicide. I mean,
Yeah.
like, you have to look at it from my perspective. And he doesn't really fight that. He kind of acknowledges it and he's sad and upset, but
He gets it.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I probably wouldn't either.
Yeah.
I forget he gets the menial job. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, he starts working at the, is it like a photo shop or like a mini mart? Because he has the shirt on and he goes to see Constance once he gets the job.
Yeah.
It's almost like a
It's a
mechanic
video.
shirt.
It's like a video shop.
Yeah.
I think because that
Like a
kind of
Radio
plays
Shack
into
kind of place.
how he
Yeah.
has, well, camera stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Oh, God.
So essentially, we learn all of this about how David Gale lost his job being a professor teaching philosophy, and how he became an alcoholic that also lost his family. And that's kind of interview one. That's day one with Bitsy. Not a whole lot happens between day one and day two when it comes to Bitsy and Zach.
They are being stalked
Yeah, we see the
by
truck.
a mysterious cowboy silhouette.
That's true. We do see that. Actually, he was following them on the way to the prison.
Yeah.
He stopped at the rest stop.
Yeah, I like I got super nervous. Just I don't know if it was the score or the lighting or Laura Linney's or excuse me, Kate Winslet's performance, but when Zach's in the bathroom and that truck pulls up and like turns its lights off and you just see the silhouette, I legitimately got very uncomfortable and like nervous. And she's like starts yelling. She's like, Zach. He's like, hang on. And I found myself being like, Zach, get the hell out.
Yeah,
come
wrap it up.
Yeah, come on.
Zip it up and let's go.
Oh my gosh.
So then we get to day 2, interview number 2. And we're starting to learn, obviously, a little bit more about all the different things that have gone wrong since David Gale loses his job. He shows up on Constance's porch, drunk. He actually gets sober for a little bit, but he falls off the wagon a couple of times. He's trying to get his life together, and it's just not working for him.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize if I'm taking us back. Has he already had the interview with like the senator? Was that when he was still employed? And
the governor, the debate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was at the very beginning.
Okay. So there is a moment. I think I wrote down 38 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because we'll talk about it. And normally we don't say we'll talk about it later. We will. I wrote down that 38-minute timestamp very intentionally when he was doing that interview, because I think it really sets up the rest of the movie when they're having a back and forth, quip.
And they're debating the death penalty.
Yes, thank you. And eventually the governor's like, you know what? I will yield right now. I'll change my policy overnight if you can name one person who absolutely was innocent who we put to death.
That we knowingly put
Yes.
to death, and we knew they were innocent.
And David Gale can't do it. Sorry, I just wanted to touch upon that one note.
And he
It's a
was
good
like
note.
winning that debate until then.
He was.
And Constance got very mad at him for like kind of going over into that area.
Yeah.
When she warned him as they were prepping for it to not actually, it's not all the way at the beginning because that's what they were discussing at the coffee shop when he
Okay.
was hungover after he slept with Berlin.
Yeah.
Because she tells him, don't get emotional, don't lose your head, stay cool, stay calm, and you'll be fine. And you're right. Until he did that, he was winning that debate.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with the death penalty or not, there's always a clear winner and a clear loser in a debate.
And they start going like, well, I'm quoting MLK. Well, I'm quoting Gandhi. Well, I'm quoting you. And then he says, well, this person also said this. And he's like, what is that? A line of mine too? And he's like, no, sir, that was Hitler.
Yeah. Also foreshadowing. Not for the movie, but you know what I mean. So, where we're at in the movie right now, guys, I'm curious what you were thinking. What was going through your head at this point? Because we still have many twists and turns
Oh, yeah.
and things that I don't know if you saw coming, didn't see coming, thought something
Have
else
they
was gonna happen.
revealed who was murdered yet at this
no.
point? I don't
think
believe
so.
so.
They've said it,
Oh, okay.
but they have not revealed what happened.
Yeah, they haven't shown the video.
No.
Okay.
So the person that was murdered, that David Gale is on death row for murdering, is Constance,
Mm-hmm.
his best friend.
his only friend, his
Whole
only world.
friend, yeah. The only one who sticks by him through the Berlin allegations, the losing of the job, the alcoholism, losing his family. She's his constant.
At this point,
Oh.
I'm side-eyeing Zach, the
Yeah,
intern.
I was too.
Because they're like, he's not allowed in there. So like, what's he doing during
Oh.
these interview times? He's like,
Well, the first day he left
he's
with
unsupervised
David
doing
Gale's lawyer.
Yeah.
They went to go
his
get a cup
very
of coffee
interesting character.
I love
that
the lawyer.
lawyer.
or something.
Is.
He's got a weird voice like his.
His
Yeah.
draw and like lines when he's like, well, that's a whole different kettle of crawdads.
That's a
I'm like,
different
oh, I
kettle of
like this guy.
crawdads.
He's fun.
He's got a ponytail.
You're plowing a little too close to the cotton, my friend. You're like,
He's got like
"How do you
10
get
teeth.
these?"
He's doing fine.
Do you have like a
He's
book
great.
of these lines?
I
But
think
yeah, I
you
was-
do over there.
I do. I have notes. I read those.
I was side-eyeing Zach a little bit. I thought he might have had something to do with something.
But what could he have had something to do with?
I don't know, but it was just like, it's kind of weird. It's like shoehorned this intern in.
Yeah.
Kate Winslet's character was like, I don't want, it's like, oh, fine, I'll take him along. She's like,
Yeah.
she didn't really want him there. It seemed like he was going to be involved in something on the
Right.
David Gale side of things to me at this point.
What about you?
I kind of forgot about Zach at this point, to be honest. I was like trying to figure it out myself. I mean, like I love whodunit TV shows and movies. I've talked about that on the pod. I wrote down at the 38-minute mark when I paused the movie, when the governor gave him that ultimatum, that if I were a betting man, David Gale set himself up to prove him wrong. At that point, I was like, I would probably say he's going to game the system somehow. I didn't know exactly how just yet. I didn't know exactly why just yet. Or I did know why, but I didn't know the context. I kind of predicted from the 30, when he was in that debate with the governor, I was like, okay, so I think that he has something up his sleeve. He's going to try to use his life. If he's on death row, there's something to it where it's intentional.
Well, you were ahead of the game when it comes to me then. So we get to the end of day 2. Bitsy and Zach get back to their hotel, and their hotel room, one of their hotel room doors is ajar.
This is where I was definitely thinking Zach was involved.
This is where the first time I saw it, if I'm remembering it correctly, because it has been, 23 years, I think I started to feel the same thing that you were
So I'm
feeling.
like,
at
who
that
set
time.
all this up? Zach is he just like disappears during these interviews.
And we haven't been introduced to any other characters that we can even start to be suspicious of.
Who knew where they were staying? He did.
That's the only one, but we don't know who that is. At
just
that
a
point.
silhouette.
Yeah. So I had my eyes squarely on Zach after this. They found a videotape hanging from the ceiling.
Yep. They find
their hotel room.
They find a videotape hanging from the ceiling.
And that was a tense scene too.
It was a very
I
tense
was like,
scene.
is somebody in there? Somebody jump out.
I got to tell you this right now. I'm not sure I'm going into that hotel room if I'm them, but if I am, I'm definitely not going in like Zach.
Yeah.
That's a great way to get killed.
That's another reason I thought he was like, he set it up. He knows it's safe in there, but he's going to make it look like
it. He ran in there like, if I do this, I get to marry Kate Winslet.
I mean,
he ran in so fast and hard. I'd be like, you know what? We're going to go call the cops and let them go.
He did kind of proposition her that first night, remember? What he's like,
did.
You want to come in? And she's like, what?
Yeah.
And he drops it. He's like, oh, never mind.
And he's like, I need you to study.
Have they gone to, I think it was Constance's house, the murder house?
No.
That Melissa McCarthy is running the tour of?
That is the next day.
That's the next day.
That's the next day. So they find this tape. And the reason that we know it's the next day is because now we get to see what actually happened. So there's this tape.
Most of what happened.
We get to see a part of what happened. They put this tape into a VCR because
they had to wrangle up.
That they had to borrow from the hotel itself.
VCR still in 2003, didn't they?
Apparently.
I at this point was like holding like a pillow.
I don't like this.
Not like out of like scary. There's like a boogeyman in the closet, but I was just like,
it's intense.
I was so uneasy, and it's so well done to just get you like, I don't like what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but I know that my body is telling me, don't play that video. Don't go in that room.
We talked a little bit about this in, I think it was Escape from New York, creating a sense of dread.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really what it was. It's such a heavy scene because, one, you don't know who was in there. You don't know what's going on with David Gale. You don't know if he actually killed Constance. We don't know what's on the tape yet.
Yeah.
And it's very well lit, but it's very dark.
Yeah. And we've all seen The Ring. Yeah. So like, you play that tape, you're opening up a whole can of worms.
You only got 7 days. And I will excuse me. I will at this point start to give Alex Parker a lot of credit.
Who?
He is
the composer.
Yes. Because I have to give not just the score itself, but the placement of it an A+. He did a phenomenal job in composing this and also putting it in a place that made sense for the somber tone, the dread that they're creating.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it was a Nepo hire and it worked out this well, that's the director's son.
I know.
Yeah,
and I was like, and he nailed it. He home run.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Yep. So they play the tape, and what we see on this tape is Constance dying. Trigger warning. She is nude. She has her hands handcuffed behind her back.
Right.
She has a garbage bag taped over her head.
Yeah.
And we see her
suffocate
to death.
It's very hard to watch.
It is extremely hard to watch.
Worst nude scene I've ever seen.
That'll bring a little levity to the show.
I did not like that.
No, it was
mixed feelings.
It was rough to watch.
And incredibly well acted by Winslet too. Like, because I was having a terrible time watching that tape. Cut to her reaction, and she is displaying a whole range of emotions.
I gotta say, I'm not the biggest Kate Winslet fan.
Same.
I think she phones it in a lot.
Huh.
Not in this movie. She is so good in this movie.
I think this is my favorite role that I've seen her in.
Absolutely. 100%. So the tape cuts after Constance dies.
Yep.
Don't see anything else. They contact David Gale's attorney. They're going to take it to him in the morning back in Austin so that he can have it, obviously use it for some form of evidence with David Gale's execution. So the next day they take that to the lawyer. They come back and they go to the house where Constance died. And
Goth Melissa McCarthy shows up.
We've now had Melissa McCarthy show up in 2 movies that we've watched. Yes.
Yeah.
This and Go.
And
A very early Melissa McCarthy.
Unnamed, basically, and answering the door and us being like, oh, wait.
Right.
Melissa McCarthy?
Goth Melissa
Superstar
McCarthy.
actor Melissa McCarthy.
So she's running what is essentially a museum of the murder scene in the house. And I forget, was it $50 a piece or was it 40?
It was 20 for the tape, 40 if you want the one where showed
she's
her
naked.
tits.
Yeah.
Which that I needed that scene so badly just to like laugh.
I know. There's not a ton of humor in this movie. It's very heavy.
And I like when they play the tape and they're like, try channel 3. And they have to like change the channel for the input.
That's old school right there.
Yeah.
I know. People under the age of 30 don't understand why that's funny. So they go through, they look at the house, they look at the outline of where Constance died is still on the floor.
Yeah.
It's a weird, like, it's kind of a funny scene because it's not as heavy as some of the other ones. And Melissa McCarthy is really good in it. She's very funny. Like she is in everything else. But I don't know that it really gives a whole lot of information. I don't think it really does.
Not yet.
No. Not at this moment when they first visit it. I don't think it does much.
No. It was still, I was so appreciative of her making me laugh because, as you said, Ben, like we cut from watching the video of this exact location and one of the most like just horrible things to watch. And then, you wake up and you go to that location. So it's still fresh on your mind. It's still hard for me to go through this museum, even with Melissa McCarthy saying like her funny lines.
I know. And she doesn't steal the scene, but she's so flat. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
She's just very like, don't touch that. Don't touch the artifacts.
Yeah.
And I'll take my top off for $50 and you can film it or see the film. Like, it's very flat, but very funny. So the third day of interviews, there's not a whole lot that we learn about the death, but we do learn 2 very important pieces. One, we learn who the cowboy is. And his name is Dusty. Mm-hmm. He's also a part of Death Watch and is apparently a very good friend of both David Gale and Constance.
Right.
We also learned that Constance has leukemia.
Yep.
She's diagnosed with cancer and she's essentially dying. David Gale says that a few times, that she's dying. There's another really uncomfortable sex scene.
Yeah.
When David and Constance have sex.
I liked their banter leading up to it.
That was fun.
Where she's like, I wish I had more sex in life. And he's like, how many times have you had sex? How many people have you had sex with? I bought their chemistry together as like best friends.
I didn't need to see it.
I really wish that I hadn't.
I didn't need to hear the line either. And I'm not going to repeat it because it made my skin jump off my body.
Yeah.
But I understood the point they were trying to make was she's dying and he was being a friend in the way that he could be in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I started questioning Dusty pretty hard here because of the scene in the garden when he was looking over at them.
Yeah, because David comes in and sits down in the garden. He says, you ever come over here and she doesn't put you to work or something like that? And he just kind of smiles, but he's got the cowboy hat on.
And it's a bit of
him.
It's a bit of an odd. He has an odd air about him. And not even just because I thought it was Sean Penn the first like 20 times I saw him on screen. I will say, I wrote this one down too. 1 hour, 5 minutes. Constance has leukemia. At this point, I'm no longer trying to be a betting man. I was like, okay, so somehow he set himself up. At this point, I was so sure that he probably put his best friend out of her misery somehow and used his life as a martyr. I literally timestamped the hour and 5. So I think at this point I was pretty in on where it was going. But I then looked and was like, oh, it's an hour and 5 minutes. We have another hour and 5 left.
You're very perceptive then, because I was not on that train of thought still.
When I watched it with mostly my wife, and she did not, and when I paused it both those times, I was like, what are you doing? I was like, I just have a feeling. That was not a shared moment.
And I guess the sex was for also evidence reasons in the future, because it's part of the reason he gets arrested.
We do find out that his DNA is in Constance.
Yeah. So I'm guessing I don't know if it was ever explicitly said that
I
was
assume that
part
was
of
probably part of the charges.
No, I know it's part of the charges, but if it was part of their master plan to get that evidence presented.
I don't feel like we would have had the scene that we had if that was part of the plan.
So it just was happenstance of
I think so.
Yeah, we're going to do it. And then, hey, happy accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cut to, that's basically where day 3's interview ends. And they have David Gale stand up and they say, time to go. And he's like, it's up to you now. You have to prove my innocence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the first time that Bitsy actually...
She's turned.
She's turned. She's starting to believe that there's actually some truth to what he's saying.
And the whole movie is kind of, I mean, it feels like, regardless of your belief as the viewer, if he did it or not, regardless of what you think is really going on, there's definitely a race against time element throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And when he stands up, there's this, again, air of uneasiness. And you're like, oh, wait, that's it? Like, we need so much more to try to do anything with it.
Right.
So it's this, again, sense of like, ... what now? Kind of dreadful. Well, shoot, those 3 days went fast. That the time's almost out now.
And you feel like we got a lot, but we didn't get a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information that came out of those interviews, but none of what came out of those interviews is really enough to do anything with.
Right.
Yeah.
And it becomes, like you said, a race against time, but it's also now literally up to Bitsy and Zach.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to find something, they're going to find something. So where do we want to go from here? Because there are a couple avenues that we could go down. Do we want to just dive right into what happens? Do we want to take a little bit of a saunter there?
Well, I guess Bitsy and Zach finally pieced together how involved Dusty is with everything.
Yes.
I also just, I apologize for not bringing this up. I just want to pause on how relatable Laura Linney's character is too. Like, you don't just see a victim. She doesn't have a ton of screen time in the movie, but the times that she does just kind of like they pulled on my heartstrings. When I wrote down, she said, like, you work so hard your whole life not to be seen as a sex object. Then it's not long before you're not seen at all.
Yeah.
And that's when she's like, probably like they're kind of talking about sex. It just, you feel so bad the whole time. So even though I want to like figure it out, you almost like just want Kate Winslet to do it for you.
Mm.
You just want her to like have an epiphany and like stumble upon it. So the fact that she's still picking up breadcrumbs at this point, and we're out of those 3 days of interviews.
Well, she believes, but she needs the evidence.
Right,
She
right.
she doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because of now we understand Dusty's involvement a little bit more, Bitsy and Zach assume that he's the one who holds the original tape.
Yeah.
So they have this plan where they're going to say that they want to meet. They're going to call Dusty and say, meet down at the bottom of the hill at the gas station. Zach's going to stay down there.
Get Dusty out of the house.
And while he's gone.
Very dilapidated,
Yeah.
rundown trailer.
Yeah. And while he's down there, Bitsy will go into his house and search for the original tape. Plan kind of works. She finds the tape and
Watches it.
for whatever reason, sits down and watches it in the house. Why? Go back to the hotel.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Now,
Time is of
I guess she
essence.
had to know.
she had to know. And what does she see on the tape?
Oh boy, does she know.
And what does she see?
She sees Laura Linney set herself up handcuff herself, put the garbage bag over her head,
Swallow the key to the handcuffs.
swallow the keys. She's wearing dishwashing gloves, so she's not leaving her own fingerprints on stuff. And then, she ties the bag first, so she'll suffocate, then handcuffs herself, and then
we
3
see
minutes
that
later is done. Then we see the end of the tape where it's Kevin Spacey walks into the frame.
Nope.
Is it not?
No, we don't see anything else.
No.
We see that she killed herself.
At this point, we know that
I
she
thought this was
wasn't.
the full tape.
No,
This
she
is-
wasn't murdered.
No, this is just where we find out she killed herself and she did not get murdered. It's after
Okay.
when it gets sent to the news station.
That's right.
what you're talking about.
Okay.
In like the bear, right? Or
Spoiler
something.
alert.
In the sheep or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So Bitsy and Zach now have the evidence.
It was suicide.
Yes, it was suicide. It was not a murder. And it's now literally a race against minutes.
Yeah.
And here
Because
I'm thinking
we're marching towards the execution time.
that Constance and Dusty set David up.
I was starting to think that
I
too.
don't think he's involved
Yeah.
at this point. I think they set him up as a patsy
martyr.
to prove their point
Yeah.
about the death penalty.
And we have Chekhov's leaky radiator because she's racing to the courthouse, and of course her car breaks down for like the third time.
Yeah, that
The
they've
rental
been
car.
yeah,
that they've been running throughout the movie.
yeah. Kate Winslet, not a runner, doesn't look great running, but boy, is she giving it her all.
She's running hard.
Apparently she had, I don't know if she's actually running, but she had just had a baby
Oh, really?
not
I didn't know
a
that.
few months ago. So I don't know what kind of
Good
shape
for
she
her.
was in.
Well, she gave it her all.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
yeah.
that. She's not very fast, but she did it. So she's racing to the execution where they're performing the execution. She thinks if I get there in time, I can show them this tape and I can save David's life. He's an innocent man. Ultimately, she does not make it in time, and David Gale is
nerds.
executed at what was it 6:12 p.m.
Yeah, they
or
tell us
whatever.
the time.
They come out and they do it, and she arrives as they're making the announcement, and she falls to her knees, and she's just completely despondent because she could not save David Gale's life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we think, all right, well, it's time to wrap it up, because then we see that Dusty packs up his house, he gets on a plane, and he leaves. He goes to go to Italy,
Well, he goes to the airport first
right?
and meets up with the lawyer.
Yes, in the bathroom, and hands him something.
And at
Hands
this
him
point, I think the average viewer is probably just looking at it and saying, oh, so he's just getting out of Dodge because he had obviously something to do with it. We've seen him on the video.
Right.
He's just running for his life. He's taking that money and he's going to hit the road.
Well, I don't think we ever actually talked about the money. Was it 50 grand
Yeah, 500.
or 500 grand? It
Yeah.
had to be paid to David Gale's lawyer
Yeah,
by the
by the station.
station.
Yeah,
They're paying for the rights for the
news
interview.
station. Yeah. So Dusty
In
meets
cash.
the lawyer in the bathroom at the airport, hands over the money, and he goes to
Italy.
I think it's Italy,
Yeah.
and leaves a significant amount of money, or maybe all of
I
it.
think all of it
for David Gale's ex-wife and his son.
I think just the son.
Well, I mean, she has to be the one to get it because the kid's like 5.
Got to be honest. Seems like she's doing okay for herself.
I think she married rich.
That place that he went to and dropped it off.
Oh, it was a villa. It was an Italian villa.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, good, more drops in my bucket. Thanks
Yeah,
for the
for real.
$500,000.
So the money goes to David Gale's son. Dusty is now in Italy enjoying the opera. Bitsy has obviously turned the tape over to authorities. They're raiding Dusty's house. It's on the news that this former death penalty activist had been withholding evidence. And obviously they're looking for him. They were going to arrest him, but he's in Italy. And we cut to the end of the movie, which is Bitsy back in the office.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets a delivery, and it is David Gale's son's stuffed sheep. She's tossing it up in the air. She catches it and hears the sound that we all know because we're all old. What is a VHS tape? It's an unmistakable sound. She cuts open the sheep. She finds a VCR. She sits down in the room by herself, plays the tape. We see everything that we've already seen. Constance swallow the key, put the bag over her head, handcuff herself, lay down, die. And then David Gale walks on screen with Dusty. So this whole time, the whole setup was exactly what you were saying, Colin. They wanted to make a point
Yeah.
that, yes, you can absolutely execute an innocent person
Mm-hmm.
without knowing it. And they intentionally withheld this until he was dead so that they could show the world. Yeah, this doesn't work.
Yep.
Or it doesn't work all the time. And another point of this, I go back to Alex Parker because this is one of the uses of his score that is so effective. When she sees David Gale on screen and she loses it.
Oh, yeah.
She completely falls apart. Couple that with that score. That is an incredibly powerful scene.
It's very powerful.
It is.
It's hard to forget. It's kind of an indelible scene.
It's a tough movie to watch and then to say like you actually enjoy.
Yeah.
Because it's a great movie.
Yeah.
I don't know that I enjoy it. Does that make sense?
I think that makes perfect sense because there's a lot of terrible movies that I do enjoy. So the other side of the coin has to be true, that there can be terrific movies that I didn't like watching. I'm glad that I did watch it, but I'll probably not revisit it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much like you said Schindler's List earlier in a joke about me making out with somebody on a date. It's very, I mean, it's not the same, but it's kind of similar in my feeling about it's a great movie.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'll revisit it.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything about Puccini's Turandot, whatever the opera is?
Not really. I mean, it's not that interesting of an opera.
Okay.
No.
I tried to look up the plot. It seems like it's kind of a hat on a hat at that point in the movie.
It is.
Where I'm like, oh, I kind of wish I hadn't looked it up.
Yeah.
Because it's similar to the plot of the movie.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah. I do want to say what Alan Parker, the director, like what his kind of mindset was in making this movie. It's his final movie, by the way. He retired after this. He passed away like 4 or 5 years ago. He's known for like kind of politically charged movies anyway. Mississippi Burning, The Commitments, things like that.
By the way, Mississippi Burning, Whoopi Goldberg, great movie.
Yeah. We'll be talking about her soon.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I didn't want to make a lecture. I wanted to make a story that cornered you and made you question your own certainties. And then
I think he did.
Kevin Spacey said he felt the film's message was intentionally ambiguous. And I think it is. I think it's whatever side of the fence you're on. I don't think it's changing your mind. I think it reinforces your belief already.
How?
If you're pro death penalty, it's like, well, look at all the ridiculous hoops they had to go through to get an innocent man executed. If you're anti-death penalty, look, we proved that the system is flawed. I don't think it swayed anybody's mind either way.
Well, I'm not saying that I think it did. I don't believe them when they say it was ambiguous or intentionally ambiguous.
Well, I mean, but that's why I'm saying it. I think it is. Like, it's not.
You don't think it has a message?
I think it's, like I said, it depends on what side of the fence you're on.
I'm not saying if you agree with the message, but I think the message is pretty standard.
So you began the pod. Well, when Ben asked us our thoughts at the beginning of this episode, you stated that you could see it at times.
Yeah.
How did you come out of this movie feeling the exact same way? A little bit more one side or the other?
Well, the same way. Like I said, I made the joke that I don't like how it's executed, but and that's true. It's a really just messy, convoluted system, extremely flawed. There have been people who have been proven innocent who have been executed. I think it's a very kind of a hair trigger on it. Maybe there are some people who need to go who are truly evil and they just need to be gone. But I don't think this movie proved that either way, one way or the other.
I think that this movie, it's a dramatization of something that definitely has happened. Yeah. I'm not saying that it has happened in the way that they've plotted it and it's come out later and we start to question how we sentence people to death or anything like that. We've definitely executed innocent people. It's 100% true.
Yeah.
I think
like recently, this isn't like going back to like the 1800s when there was no evidence for anything.
It still happens.
I did it in the street last year. Sorry.
You moron. I don't know that I agree that it doesn't have a non-ambiguous message. I think the message is very clear that the death penalty is a flawed way of punishing people, and we proved it. Now, do I think it swayed anybody? I agree with you. No, you're never going to sway
Mhm.
people on these really politically charged parts of our society.
Identity politics.
Yeah, you're never going to change. Don't argue with people about abortion. Don't argue with people about immigration. Don't argue with people about gun control. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Whatever side you're on, you're never going to change.
Yeah.
The death penalty, though, I think is the one hot button political stance that there's maybe more room for discussion.
Sure.
That's just what I think. I could be wrong, but
Yeah. I mean, I don't get why they have to be. It takes like 20 years
yeah,
to kill them. I mean, I guess
I mean, not in this
there's
movie.
appeals and stuff that they go through.
well,
So
why do the
there's-
appeals take so long?
Well,
That's
the whole thing's a mess
That's a
The
bigger
court
discussion.
system.
is the
because
court
it's
system.
executed poorly. That's why.
DOJ itself is a hot garbage fire at times, and
Yeah,
our
especially
entire
now.
system. Yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine he'd get like a pardon and be like given a cabinet position nowadays, even when he was like, quote, known to be a killer.
One thing that we didn't talk about is what's included in the money that he leaves to his son.
Oh, it was like a story, right?
It's a postcard from Berlin.
Oh yeah, the
I
postcard
forgot
that kind
about
of
that. Not from the city of Berlin.
No. From the former student who accused him of sexual assault, who essentially on that postcard says, "I'm sorry, I lied."
So
Yeah.
she was in on it too?
No, I think he's always had that, and he just wanted to stick it to his ex-wife one last time.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I forgot about her too, to be honest. By this point in the movie, I was like, oh, Berlin.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, not Oberlin. That's a college.
Also a beer, right?
That's true. Well, that's Oberon.
Oberon, yeah.
Well, what did other folks think of this movie?
It was pretty heavily criticized. People did not love it.
Can I read Roger Ebert's?
Please do.
Oh
boy.
my. He hated this.
Go for it.
The direction is by British director Alan Parker, who at one point had never made a movie I wholly disapproved of. Now has he ever? The secrets of the plot must remain unrevealed by me so that you can be offended by them yourself. But let it be said, this movie is about as corrupt, intellectually bankrupt, and morally dishonest as it could possibly be without David Gale actually hiring himself out as a joker at the court of Saddam Hussein.
Oh, my gosh. How many stars did he give it?
0.
Literally 0.
Well, listen here, Roger Ebert. Let me talk directly to you.
All right. Hey, Nels, let's take our headphones off. He's talking to Ebert.
Talking to Ebert. Listen, you're wrong. And you need to study.
That's it?
Can we put our headphones back on? He's signing that we can put
I
it
really
back
thought
on.
you would enjoy the study joke. Guess not.
Oh, because of the Berlin.
Oh, you forgot everything I've said in this episode.
I forgot
haven't you?
Berlin
What are we
altogether.
talking about?
What movie is this? The Flintstones?
He also said that the film he felt supports the death penalty while pretending to oppose it.
Roger Ebert can suck it because this is a great movie and he is wrong on everything he just said.
But every other critic hated this movie too.
Well, you only read his.
Well, 'cause that's pretty rough.
It really was a flop.
Yep.
It had a $39 million or $38 million budget and it only made $39 million worldwide. I don't think that $1 million in profit paid for Kevin Spacey in this movie. I don't think it probably paid for Laura Linney or Kate Winslet in
No,
this movie.
certainly not.
I'll bet they thought this was like Oscar bait and a half, and it just went
I would
nowhere.
expect,
given the
yeah,
cast
yeah.
and the director and what the topic and
The twist is the biggest thing that I saw people criticize, from critics to people that just write reviews on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes, it only has a 19%.
Is that critically or like, is that audience or like critics?
Both.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of similar to what you just said about Roger Ebert and how he felt. One of the things that I noted was there seems to be a perception of manipulation of the message that
Yeah.
people did not like. I don't know that I saw that in the whole movie. I don't think I saw or felt that it was a pro death penalty movie while pretending to be an anti death
I
penalty
wonder
movie.
if they had ended it, like if they ended where David Gale was not a part of it and he was just set up by Constance and Dusty to be a martyr.
Would that have made it a better movie to you?
Maybe. I mean, the fact that he's in on it, I think that's what people people really were like, okay, that's just too much. Whereas opposed if like they set him up.
I wonder if he was at all more likable, if it would change people's minds. Because I felt like I just got this air of arrogance and indignant, like he is so hard to watch at times, and he thinks he's better than everyone around him, is what I perceived his interior.
That's where
head
he
would
starts. It's definitely where he starts.
But even when he's like an alcoholic, or when he's in the jail, or like during the interviews, I just felt like he was talking down, and he's like, I am smarter than you and you'll find out why. And I wonder if that turned people off to his character.
Him being in on it means the entire like interview thing was an act.
Right.
Like he's setting up a Bitsy to figure everything out, as opposed to
that's a terrible name.
It sounds like a children's book character, about like a little tulip who's trying to like make friends.
It's the Bitsy Spider.
It would have. I think it would have landed a little better if he was like truly unknowingly innocent and like desperate for her to find the truth, so he would be put.
There
to death.
is an air of I don't care,
as opposed to like he obviously he wants to. But by revealing that he's in on it, he wants to be put to death so he can prove the point.
Better or worse movie if you remove that very last videotape where he walks onto the screen and looks at the camera?
Worse.
I think it's better.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd probably go a little better too.
Wow.
I didn't.
I think it was one.
He looked at the camera like David Blaine does after he does an illusion, though.
Stop putting Cheez-Its all over our body, David Blaine.
Devil. But he did. He like looked right at the camera as if to be like, "Ha ha! Look what I did," and it kind of turned me off.
It's like they overthought it on the twist. I think.
I don't know that I agree. I actually think that I love the third twist. I really do. Well,
didn't see it coming. I'll give him that.
Didn't see it coming at all the first time I saw it. I knew it was coming this time, but. Yeah, let's give our final thoughts. I feel like we've given our final thoughts. Let's rate this bad boy
on
a scale
of justice.
1 to 5 justice.
A scale of justice. 1 through 5 stuffed sheeps.
Oh, okay.
Would it be sheep?
Stuffed sheep. 1 through 5 sheep. There's really not anything I could choose in this movie that's.
I did like the scale of justice. Does it tip towards I would execute this movie, or I would let it live and watch again?
That's good. I'll go first since this was my pick. I don't care what Roger Ebert said. I really, really love this movie. I think it's made better by the final twist. I get why some people wouldn't love it. You're not going to please everybody, and everybody's opinion is valid. So I'm not going to try and convince people to love it. It's definitely worth a watch. I think it's really well acted. It's really well written. The score, I think, is one of the best ones we've had so far, in my opinion. And it's used really intentionally and really in smart ways and in smart places. I really like this movie. I don't have a ton of criticisms about it. I don't love some of the aspects of his relationships with students when he's a professor. And I don't love Zach's kind of laissez-faire attachment or dissociation from the reality of what they're doing. So that annoyed me a little bit, but overall, I think it's great. I'm going to go 4.5 out of 5 stuffed sheep.
Alrighty. Nels?
It is well acted. You have some top-notch actors in here, top-notch director. I thought the mood of the movie was very tense throughout. It kept you guessing. It's not something I'll probably watch again just because it's a very heavy movie. It's not something I'm going to, throw on to feel good or have on in the background.
Go on a date.
Yeah. Take a date to.
I was 17.
That doesn't
16.
Help. I think it's rated R.
Well, it definitely is rated R.
It has to be.
Yeah, I think the third, I guess, twist, whatever that I mentioned of it being David Gale kind of put a damper on it for me. I'm going to give it 2 out of 5. It's okay if you want to watch it and you like the mood, you like a good whodunit.
Yeah.
If you want to debate yourself on the death penalty or challenge yourself there, give it a shot. See if this sways you one way or the other if you're on the fence. But
Give it a shot.
yeah, 2 sheep out of 5.
I felt like the movie was kind of in a meta critique. It was very much like David Gale himself. It seemed like it was very sure of its own brilliance, while I was kind of just wondering when we'd get to the next bullet point. It seemed like it was kind of filmed like a thinking man's thriller, but to me it played more like in like a running through the airport thriller at times. I agree with y'all's thoughts on the score and of course the acting. I even like the set pieces. Like I loved the details when we first saw the prison and they're showing all the locking mechanisms happen. It draws you in. It makes it feel very real. I wish that I hadn't written down twice what ended up being the big twist. I think that I probably ruined it a bit for myself in that regard. So it's hard for me to separate my viewing to what I would think someone else would view it as. The way I did watch it, though, because that's how I'm scoring it, it is something that was hard to watch, and I did see the twist. So it's not something I feel like I can necessarily say, like, I really heavily encourage people to watch. If you like thrillers, if you like political thrillers, if you like whodunits and twists, then yes. If that's not your bag of beans, then I don't know.
You bag of beans.
I am going to go overall. I'm right there with Nels. I'm going to say 2 sheep.
Man, I really thought you guys would like this. I was wrong. You did
I'm
not love it.
glad we watched it. I'm glad that we watched all of the movies.
I know.
You can get us back when we watch Truman Show.
I genuinely thought you guys would enjoy this. I really do like this movie, but it's okay. It's not everyone's bag of beans, apparently.
Yep.
There was probably a phrase I was trying to say there, and I just settled with beans. Is there a better phrase for that?
Bag of loose barley.
Bag of bitsy
Yeah.
blooms.
Oh God.
Bitsy blooms. Oh, man.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah. Join us next week for...
Look, if you enjoyed us talking about Kevin Spacey for an hour, next week we talk about Mel Gibson in 2000's What Women Want.
our first
rom-com. Yeah. So
I mean,
a lighter Mel Gibson movie.
I guess Private Benjamin was kind of a rom-com.
Maybe we'll talk about Helen Hunt more instead.
I would prefer to do that.
Okay.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.